This is the Sales Gravy Podcast. I'm Jeb Blount, best-selling author of Fanatical Prospecting, Sales EQ, Objections, and Inked, and I'm here to help you fill up your pipeline, close bigger deals, and rock your commission check. All right, we are back with the final episode in my series on sleep and sales performance with sleep expert Jeff Kahn. And on this episode, we discuss how sleep can make you a better and more convincing sales presenter. Before we get started, though, I am super excited to tell you about my brand new book, Virtual Selling. It was released this week and went straight to number 1 on the bestseller list. In Virtual Selling, I give you the 7 technical elements of video sales calls and the 5 human elements of video sales calls that will help you engage remote buyers and differentiate. It will teach you how to destroy your competition in the virtual sales world. So go right now to Amazon and download Virtual Selling. I guarantee this is one book that will help you make more money this year. Now here's my conversation with sleep expert Jeff Kahn on how sleep can make you a better sales presenter. Well, a lot of salespeople have big presentations, like you got a big deal on the line. And you're going to go into a group of people, you got your PowerPoint slides, maybe you're even going in with a team, and you're anxious over it, you're running it through in your brain. I know that I used to do this too. And I used to win a lot of deals. Like when I was carrying a briefcase salesperson, because this is the process that I used. I would put the proposal together several days in advance. And then I would start rolling through those slides in my head, And I never felt like, even today, I give these big keynotes. People pay me big bucks to go stand in front of them. I always feel like when I go on stage, I'm going to be a complete moron. And even when I was doing these presentations to my customers, I would feel the same way. But I learned in college that if I studied really hard and then slept on it, no matter how nervous I felt, like no matter how much I didn't think that I knew the content, that if I got a good night's sleep, that the next day, for some reason, I would just have it.
Yep.
Same thing with presentations. If I went through the presentation, just went through the slides the day before, and I didn't even have to master them, just go through them and then get a good night's sleep, the next day, everything would work. Why does that happen? And is that, am I just making that up in my mind, or is there science behind that? And how can people, and if there is science behind it, how can people use it to perform at a higher level?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And so what's happening? So if we were to look at your brain, kind of going through those slides, and then we were to image your brain at night, what you'd see is that, again, your neurons are rearranging and they're actually taking the information and installing it into the brain. So it's going from short-term memory, which is you just, remembering that slide, talking about it, talking it out loud, and then it's going into medium term. And so there's a whole subfield of sleep science that just studies sleep and memory formation. But you said you forgot 4 years of your life. That's because when you don't sleep, one of the things that goes out the window is memory formation. And so what's happening is when you're sleeping, you're actually concretizing. All of that information is getting installed into your brain. And it doesn't happen when you're awake. It only happens when you're asleep. And so we used to tell athletes, you're spending all this time practicing your 3-point technique, practicing a route, whatever it is. All that doesn't matter for anything unless you get sleep, because it actually gets installed during the night. So if you spend a ton of time practicing, you've actually got to cement that by getting sleep. And that's where a lot of this memory formation is happening. And so what's the best thing to do? Well, ideally what you're doing is giving yourself as many nights as possible until that presentation to let it become concrete. So, if it were me and it was really, really important, well, can you do 2 nights? Can you do 3 nights? And can you just make sure that you practice and prepare, sleep on it, practice and prepare, sleep on it, practice and prepare, sleep on it. But it's going to be that combination of doing the preparation and then sleeping. Like sleeping can't be divorced from the actual practicing and preparation. Both of those things are linked together intimately.
So the pulling the all-nighter to get ready for the presentation doesn't make you a better presenter. In fact, it can make you a worse presenter because you can't remember it.
Yeah, and what's worse, so yes, and what's worse about all of this, what we just all talked about, and probably one of the reasons it's so easy to just let this problem of being sleep deprived slide, is that your brain actually tricks you into not feeling sleepy. That even if you've been getting 4, 5, 6 hours throughout your entire life, even though your objective performance is just getting worse as you build up debt, your ability to recognize it in yourself is terrible. We don't do it. We only think we're a little bit sleepy. But that's one of the things that makes this so difficult, is that we're not actually a good judge of our own subjective state.
Makes sense. Well, as they say, self-awareness is the mother of change. So Jeff Kahn Fantastic conversation. I could spend all day with you. I'm so fascinated by this. I've written about sleep, and it's like I guess I write about it because I'm so terrible at it. But again, I that makes a lot of sense. Sleep debt, and then understanding what your circadian rhythm is, your performance peaks and lows. That makes a lot of
Yep.
sense. Thank you so much for the time that you spent with us today.
Yeah,
Can
you
you tell
got
us
it.
a little bit more about Rise, the projects that you're working on, and tell people where they can learn more about you and get more resources if they're having a difficult time sleeping
Yeah.
so they can become a better sleeper and a higher performer.
Yeah. So we're doing a couple things. Obviously, we still work with our professional athletic teams, but our focus, the past couple of years has really been how do we help, the corporate athletes of America perform better. And so, we're focused now on working typically with large sales teams. And so if that is something that you're interested in hearing more about our research there and what we're finding and how we work with teams, just send me an email, jeff@risescience.com, and look at everything and respond to what I can. But it also goes to, for the folks that are sales professionals that just want to take advantage of this, go ahead and download the app. So all the science that we just talked about, all of the techniques and habits, we've actually built a science-backed app that you can download in the App Store and Play Store. Just search Rise Sleep, and you can get started. And actually, during this whole coronavirus thing, we're making some offers available. And so, look, if money's the reason you can't do it, contact us and we'll help out. I mean, we really want to make sure that you're able to take advantage of this stuff. So download us in the App Store. And then, if this is something that you think your team would benefit from, again, just send me a note, jeff@risescience.com. Happy to talk about research, happy to send you papers, happy to go deeper in any one of these points. This is a conversation we want to have. And we'll be starting to publish quite a bit more on all of these topics too. So you can follow us on Twitter, you can follow us on LinkedIn, and you'll definitely see a steady flow of information on what we're finding about all these topics.
Very good. Thank you again for spending time with me. This is fascinating, and I hope you'll go check out Rise Science, grab the app Rise Sleep. Jeff Kahn, thank you for joining me in the clubhouse.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it, Jeb.
Thank you so much for joining me for this series on sleep and sales performance. I hope that it will inspire you to go get more sleep so that you can perform at a higher level and reach peak performance. And make sure you go straight to Amazon and download my new book, Virtual Selling. It will give you everything that you need to connect with remote buyers and close the deal.